What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fourth and 15. I am Mel. Thank you guys for tuning in. And joining me today is my new co host, my homie, Jacob Brown. Jacob, what's happening, baby?
What's up with you, man? How you doing today, man?
We are doing well. We are doing well. It's still cold outside, but we doing well. All right. We got a lot to talk about, but not a lot to talk about. So we are going to start in the NBA. As we've seen, the Cavs have hit and miss on a few things, and they've struggled at times. The injury bug is hitting them pretty hard. What are you seeing from the Cavs that makes you feel like is this something to worry about, or is it not something to worry about?
Most definitely something to worry about because you see this type of stuff happen with the Cavs for the last couple of years with about this same group they've been bringing in for the last 2 or 3 years. It's the same little injury bug, and it happens towards the playoffs, and they end up being beat by the end of the season, and the playoffs come. They don't look physical enough on the court. Like we both agreed about the Indiana series last year. Indiana wasn't the better team; they was a more physical and more dominant team. So yeah, this is most definitely something to worry about if you're a Cleveland fan. And yeah,
All right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take a look at the standings because um, I feel like is this something to worry about? Honestly, I don't feel like this is something to worry about, and the reason I don't feel like this is something to worry about is simply because they overcame it last time. Like, granted, we ran into Indiana. Yes, obviously, it was a bad move. Bad things happened, but they still overcame it. They ran into Indiana. Indiana, you're right. Indiana was not the better team. They were just more physical where they needed to be, and we were also missing key parts. Now, my question would be, what happens when this year's playoffs rolls around and we have those key players not on the injury bug or on the injured list, and we can make it work? Do we see the same result with Indiana? I don't think so.
I it's a hard thing to roll around because the last 2 years has been injuries. Like we don't know what they're like in the playoffs, not injured. Like we have no data on the Cavs being uninjured in the playoffs, being fully healthy, fully coherent team together, playing good basketball. We never saw that happen, so it's hard to say if this can happen because we never saw it actually. Because every single year they have been hurt, so that's the reason why I'll be concerned because it's happened like every year, and Cleveland's not a place players want to like go and live in free agency. A couple years from now, some of this team could be mixed up. So it's something to worry about because the Cavs really having their best team since LeBron. So like, anytime there's no
Very
LeBron,
true.
they haven't had a good team since like the '80s. So like, it's definitely something to worry about because I think all Cavs fans in the back of their mind understands that these players probably won't be here their whole careers. Hopefully they do. We don't know, but I don't even think that. I think most Cavs fans don't believe all these players on their team is going to end up being on the Cavs for their whole career. So that's why I would think it's concerning.
Okay, I can agree with you on that. However, I'm gonna play devil's advocate like I normally do. Um, they're sitting right now at sixth. They're a game behind Orlando, one game behind Toronto at fourth. You know, the reach for like they're literally 2 games behind, one or 2 games behind the other top five.
It's
So
going to be
we're
like
not
that at this point in the season
no,
because
we're not out of it. It's just the
of
East
course.
is it's so jam packed. Like how do we navigate through this? And again, they just beat Philly the other night, you know, twice in a row. So the winning streak is coming along. But again, how do we know, things won't take a change? Because I honestly believe once this injury bug is over with, the Cavs are gonna be scary. I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel.
I mean, the Cavs are always scary without the injury bug. They always been that team. That's why everyone's always putting that what if behind the Cavs name because when they're fully healthy, sometimes they look like the best team in the NBA. But that remains to be seen. And I think they're so close, jam packed because it's so early in the season. Still, we haven't even hit All-Star break yet. Towards the end of the season, it will more shake up more, and you will be able to divvy things out probably. But I
You're right. You're right. We have not hit the All-Star break, which is crazy because you see all this calamity, especially in the Eastern Conference, and they're so close. And we take a look at the West. The only team that really got a commanding lead is Oklahoma City. Everybody else is a game or two behind each other. So both
yeah.
sides, both sides of the ball are looking very stacked. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but when you look at it, both teams looking stacked. What do you see for the second, or at least going into the All-Star break? What are you seeing and what are you hearing if things are going to change with the Cavs or the Thunder or anybody, anybody that you think should be or is going to make a case for the playoffs?
I mean, the teams. I think most teams. I think you have like a pretty good view on who you think is going to be in the playoffs. Like Detroit, they're the number one seed in the East. They're fantastic. Last year, I really thought there was going to be a better team this year and you've seen it in most teams that would play to have like an average year, and you expected them to step up next year. They're all doing it. That's like the Magic, the Raptors, Pistons. So I think teams that are doing good at rebuilding, you're going to see them making a big push in the playoffs. Like the Rockets, there was a 2 seed last year, but they was very young. They're going to be a team you're going to have to worry about this year. Even the Suns are making a push. Surprisingly, they started off the season really bad, and the Suns did move their way up all the way to the 7th seed in the West. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out.
I'm glad you mentioned the Suns because for the last couple of years, outside of that one run that they made to the finals, it's been a calamity, to say the least. And I don't know if I'm not even saying I don't know. We weren't sure if they were going to make the turn, and here they are, the 7th seed with above 500. So to me, that shows West is getting stronger, East is getting stronger, but who's going to make it out? Being honest, I don't believe in Detroit too much. It's still, to be fair, it's still Boston's conference to lose. They're sitting at second behind Detroit, so it's still Boston's conference to lose. But I don't see where we could make it to be a situation where can we not trust the Cavs to make the playoffs? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Cavs should be fine. I think they should end up making the playoffs, especially after this injury bug. Things haven't been looking too bright, honestly. I mean, they split the Detroit series. I mean, not the Detroit series. They split the Philly series. Most people felt like the Cavs should have been able to take both of them games. But I don't feel like it's something necessary to worry about unless these players come back from the injuries and they're just not playing good and they're just losing games. Then at that point, then maybe you should be worried. But I don't think there's no worry. I think the Cavs are going to make the playoffs regardless. They're going to be in the play-in tournament regardless, so they'll have a way to play themselves into the playoffs. I don't see them dropping to 11 or 12.
I don't see them dropping at all, honestly, and I don't see them having to go into the play-in tournament because
I'm just saying, if worst thing the worst, they would be in the play-in tournament.
I still can't see that. I don't know
that's what I'm saying. There's nothing. I wouldn't be worried about the Cavs making the playoffs or not.
Okay, fair enough. Predictions before the All-Star break, before we go to commercial. I see the Cavs. All right, sorry about that. But yeah, I see the Cavs. See the Cavs in the 3rd, 4th seed before we hit the All-Star break. What about you?
What am I opinion on that?
Yeah, just period. What are you gonna? What would you like to see happen before the All-Star break?
I mean, I definitely can see the Cavs going up to 3 or 4 seed by All-Star break. I can agree with you on that.
All right, fair enough. So with that, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, a lot of stuff happened yesterday in the NFL. Some good, some bad, and some downright ugly. So when we come back, we'll get you to that. So you're watching Fourth and 15 with Mel and Jacob here on the 216 Sports Network.
Got a taste for something sweet? Planning a party? Or just want a midnight snack? Clarissa's Confections is a local treat maker here in Cleveland and has made many delectable and delicious treats for the young and old. Her treats are made to order and can be customized to your needs and any occasion. To place your orders, email her at sweetsbyclarice@gmail.com or call her at 440-805-4303. If you're looking for a good brand of clothing at affordable prices, then TGBG is just for you. Hats, shirts, hoodies, and custom gear all at your fingertips. And just in time for the weekend is Free Ship Friday. Free shipping on all orders. Just use the code FREESHIPFRIDAY at checkout. And all Godfidence items are 10% off. Head on over to tgbgbrand.com and get your orders in for your custom clothing now. TGBG is the official outfitter of the 216 Sports Network. TGBG, to God be the glory.
All right, we are back. And again, we're gonna have to talk about the hat though. We definitely gonna have to talk about the hat.
Nah, I think it looks nice. You like it?
No, I don't.
Got it as a Christmas present.
You are not loved. You are not loved. Anyway, we'll touch the NFL for a little bit. Some good again, some bad, and some just downright ugly. We saw we'll rewind. Wow. Rams and the Panthers go into a shootout. The Bears come back from essentially dead to rights, and then the Bills handle the Jaguars. On the other side of that, in the NFC, 49ers handle the Eagles, which nobody expected given the circumstances. They lost George Kittle in the process. The Chargers try as they might, couldn't handle Drake May and the Patriots. So we're starting to see the Patriots get back to the Patriot way. And then the Texans just dog walked my Steelers, and it was just bad. So we move forward to the divisional round. And we saw the Bills come back and bring the game into overtime in Mile High against the Broncos, but they lose in overtime. Not only do they lose in overtime, they literally lose Bo Nix for the rest of the season or the postseason. He breaks a bone in his ankle, but the Broncos make it to the AFC Championship. What were your thoughts on that game?
I'm gonna say my thoughts about the Bo Nix thing first. It's unfortunate, and then to end up in the AFC Championship and you don't have your quarterback you had all season is very disappointing. I mean, kind of gives you a clear cut, in my opinion, of what you know the Texans and Patriots are playing for a trip to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. You know, and on my thoughts on the game, honestly, uh, it was a good game, and I'm tired of seeing the zebras come in at the end of the game, man. Man, like it's quite frustrating. I mean, the very last pass interference clearly was a pass interference, but they wasn't calling. But like the first one they called, because they called two back to back. The first one
Yeah.
that was terrible, and I call it terrible because if you're letting people play the whole game long, then do it. Don't let them play hard all game long. And
And
then
then
when
you
it comes
start
to the end
calling
and
it.
over, then start calling it. No fan wants to see that. No player wants to see that. That's why most people was upset. It's because like you saw plays like Brandon Cooks in the end zone. They didn't call pass interference on the Broncos during the game. You know why? Because those letting the DBs play. Those letting the receivers and DBs play the whole game. So if that's what you're gonna do, you gotta be consistent the whole game. You can't call that. You cannot not call them type of plays all game long. And when it comes to the end, you just start calling them. Like that's just not a way to end it. And then with that pick, that would catch pick, I don't understand that either. His knee
You
was
know
down.
what?
If
So
you look at the other angle, he had both arms on the ball, knee on the ground. Wouldn't the play be over then? Why? Like, how can the DB just rip it out of his hands? And then if there's another play earlier in the season with the Bills, and it was the exact same play, literally, and they ruled it a catch. I don't, the NFL, like 1 week we see something, and the next week it's like the same thing but ruled differently. How can you see the same type of plays happen in the regular season and they end up differently called? Like it's just
you
it
stole
doesn't
my
make
thunder.
sense.
You stole my thunder, but that's exactly where I was going. And honestly, I agree. And here's why I'm going to say I agree, but this is what it's going to be. The rule states in order for it to be a catch, the receiver must have possession and control through the catch. The only reason I can think of that they gave this to the Broncos defender is because when you go back and look at it, it does not immediately look like the Bills receiver had control. Now we can argue that. We can definitely argue that. However, it's going to they gonna hit us with that. Did he have control? Did he finish the catch? Yeah, you're right. His knee was down. He had control of it. But you gotta have it through the catch. So if there's a
Yeah.
fight for the ball,
But my question to that is to the NFL, like, what's the determination of when does the catch end? Like, wouldn't you think when the knee hits the ground will the play be over? Why do you have to roll and then stand up? I don't
well,
that like that
let,
like so
let's
when does the definition of a catch like end? Like when does the process of a full possession to the ground? What does that all mean when he stands up on his feet? Because can you fight for the ball until you stand up on your feet? Like
well,
tell me the ending process of a catch.
and you're right, but let's look at this the other way too. Was he really down by contact? I would say
Yeah.
yes. Well, hold up. Don't shoot the messenger. I would say yes. However, bang bang on the field, we don't know what the referees are looking at. I'm not defending them in any way, shape, or form.
And
I am
that's
just
another thing
saying,
that caught my eye too. The refs were like kind of like not rushed, but they didn't even take a review. How don't you even look at that? We as fans, we always yell and scream about why does they always review so many things? Why do they take forever reviewing things? But when something as important as a playoff game to go to the next round, a season-ending type of call, you
I
don't even
agree.
review it. Like
I
I don't,
agree.
I don't. They review the most minor things. I swear. In the regular season, I went to a Browns versus Ravens game, and they reviewed the most minor things. I swear, it was the second quarter. They're sitting there reviewing a freaking first down, but you can't review it. Like, come on, like I
I agree. I agree. And I'm not arguing with you. So to the referees, here we go
yeah.
with this one.
Just be more
But
consistent. That's all.
hey, you're fair. You're your assessment is fair. And I can't dispute it. I'm not going to, because as a former receiver and as a DB, it's gone both ways on me. So what I'm going to say is, yes, I do feel like that should have been reviewed. I also feel like there should have been more time taken on that play. With that, we're gonna take another quick commercial break, and we're gonna finish this and see where we can get where the referees can actually hear us. So you're watching 4th and 15 with Mel and Jacob here on the 216 Sports Network.
Are you a team looking for a new look on the sideline this season? A company looking for a more casual look? Or just trying to introduce something new to your closet space? TGBG is the brand for you. Jackets, polos, hoodies, and everything in between. TGBG has the clothing you need to serve a purpose for every occasion. To place your orders, contact them on Facebook and Instagram. Check out their website at www.tgbgbrand.com. Email them at tgbgbrand@gmail.com or call them at 440-470-4234. TGBG is also the official outfitter of the 216 Sports Network. TGBG, to God be the glory. Are you ready for a snack or a treat that satisfies that sweet tooth? Well, Clarice's Confections has what you need. All her treats are custom made and centered around your taste buds' desires. Place your orders now by emailing her at sweetsbyclarice@gmail.com or call her at 440-805-4303.
And we are back. Okay, we're gonna finish with the NFL because it was a lot. We still got a lot to cover, but yeah, I do still agree with you on the referees taking the game away from both the Bills and the Broncos in that scenario, because realistically that catch should not have, it should have been a catch, should not have been an interception. Maybe the Bills pull it out.
Even if it wasn't, I would like to see it reviewed. You know what I mean? I would like to see it.
I'll give you that.
Reviewed.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Now, moving over to last night's NFC matchup in the divisional playoffs, the 49ers traveled to Seattle and they played again for the third time, but the second time in 2 weeks. And essentially, it was what everybody thought it would be. It was a massacre. Baby, I'm sorry. Don't beat me up. I know you're a 49ers fan, but you were missing weapons. The 49ers were missing a lot of weapons. George Kittle was gone with a torn Achilles. You get Trent Williams back, but the defensive scheme for the Seahawks was totally different than what they would have saw the first 2 weeks or the first two games. And how? And I'm not saying this don't happen. So, because shout out to the homie Joe Powell of the then St. Louis Battlehawks. You were the first person to return a dynamic kickoff. So, my question was, what happened on the coverage team, man? Because you let the opening kickoff, that just sucked all the momentum out right there.
I think that the first kickoff of the game kind of symbolized what was going to happen. I think after the first kickoff, everyone knew what was going to happen. It's just, it was like the inevitable happened. They're a really injury-riddled team. Brock Purdy hasn't been playing necessarily that great this year.
Has not.
Yeah, I mean, like the last couple of years, Brock Purdy has been playing good. And, Mac Jones was playing in the beginning of the year, and he looked pretty good. I'm not going to say he would have played better than Brock Purdy in this situation, but they're just a really injured team. We all knew what was going to happen. And, thanks to Philly, because Philly wanted to lose to an injured 49ers team, so we all knew this was going to end up happening at some point in the playoffs because of their injuries.
Very true. And I gotta sit here and think about what happens if the 49ers have everybody. Like, they have Trent Williams when they needed him. They have George Kittle. Are we literally – because, like, when you go back and watch that game, Brock Purdy didn't play bad. He just wasn't ready for the scheme that they brought out. And, he made a couple plays with his legs, made a couple throws that Tom Brady even said he does not condone that throw. But, I mean, once you leave it in the hands of Christian McCaffrey, it's kind of all she wrote, and all you have to do as a defense is just key in on him.
Yeah, and then when you start off a game so bad and so poorly, it's kind of hard to dig yourself out of a hole, especially when you're not that super explosive team no more, especially when you're playing a really, really good defense. You know what I mean? Like the Seahawks are a good defense, and they start the game off 17-0. Just a lot of bad, when unfortunately for the 49ers in the beginning of the game, they called like a timeout, like Seattle called a timeout in the middle of a play, and they didn't rule the first, and then they
I didn't agree with that.
They redid the fourth down, and then not a really good play call in that situation. I thought they should have stepped back and threw it again, but they did the option with
I didn't agree with that call at all.
McCaffrey, and it didn't end up working. And then
why would you run it to the boundary side?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. That's my big problem with it. I would have been okay with it if you ran it to the opposite side. I didn't like them running it to the short side of the field. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, that you like. Come on, man. You gotta
it was like the reason why I didn't understand because at the time when Juszczyk wanted to pitch to McCaffrey,
it was
McCaffrey
too
was
late.
almost out of bounds. He was almost out of bounds.
Not only that, where's he going?
He wasn't going to go nowhere. There's no room to go nowhere. He couldn't even make nothing happen. So I don't even understand why they even ran it that way. Like, I would have been cool with the play call going to the left side of the field. They went to the short side on the right. That was confusing, honestly. And from there, then it was up 17-0. And then at that point, it's like it's going to be like a team like Seattle with a good defense and great offense. Like Seattle got a good defense and a good offense. It's going to be really, really hard to come back from 17-0 deficit that early in the game, and especially when you have injuries all over your defense. So
I gotta give the offense one of these on this play because and a boo because you can't call that to the boundary side, man.
That's all coaching right there.
You literally took yourself out to play.
He ran to the short side of the field. Like you might as well not even had Christian McCaffrey running with him. You might as well just did a Kyle Juszczyk to the right, I guess.
Or Brock run that with Juszczyk, but either way, I just didn't agree with that.
It was just the play call was fine if you ran it to the wide side of the field. They ran it to the short side,
and that. All right, so we're gonna skip that. We're gonna go over. We're gonna skip a little bit. Well, not skip, but we're going to run a little bit over because I want to talk about this. So obviously we're going to see a new Super Bowl champion, whoever it is. But my question to you is, what's going to be the telltale sign that the AFC team will have to deal with the Seahawks?
I think it's pretty prevalent that the Seahawks are probably gonna make the playoff, make the Super Bowl because, I have a strong take on the Bears game tonight. I mean, I feel like the Rams could beat the Seahawks, but I don't know if they're gonna beat the Bears tonight. Honestly, they're gonna be in Chicago. It's gonna be very cold. And I have to question whether they're gonna win or not because they got all the pieces there, but they really struggled with Carolina. That kind of like scared me, And Matt Stafford the last couple of weeks, even dating back to the end of the season versus like the Falcons, he hasn't been playing out of his mind like he was the year that they won the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of iffy on that game. They could go out there and beat Chicago, but if I was a betting man, I'll probably take Chicago today. But I think the Rams have a better shot at beating Seattle than the Rams. So that's how I look at it. And if Chicago wins and plays the Seahawks, I don't see a world where the Bears go into Seattle, the 12th man, and beat the Seahawks. It's not happening.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate on this one. I got the Bears going
To the Super Bowl?
Yes, I have the
Yeah.
Bears going to the Super
that would be nice because I've been saying this. I think the Texans will make the Super Bowl.
I got the Bears because the Bears are due. Haven't been back since Peyton beat them. And with Caleb Williams and that defense, it's similar to the defense for the Bears is similar to the Seahawks. The only difference is the Seahawks have a little bit more size up front on the defensive line. However, there's more speed. Like there's more all-around team speed on the Bears defense. If you watch those games, even watch it tonight, they flow to the ball.
Yeah.
And not only do they flow to the ball, they make sure you know they're going to be there. And don't get me wrong, I love Sam Darnold. However, Sam Darnold can't move. And if you can't move against a very good defense, you're going to end up getting hurt. If not beat up a lot. So with that, give me the Bears to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's very possible. So you think the Bears are going to win tonight too?
I do.
Yeah.
Let's look at reality here. Dome teams don't fare well in the playoffs outside.
Yeah. No. And I know everyone wants to be like, I heard some people say, well, Matt Stafford play for Detroit. They're in the Dome too.
Exactly.
And they never made the playoffs, so we wouldn't know if he played good in the cold because he never made the playoffs.
And not only, but the difference
I think he did, but
the difference with Matt Stafford is Matt Stafford does have experience playing at Lambeau Field, playing at Soldier Field.
Yes.
The rest of that team, do we know that? We don't. And I'm not saying Puka looks great during the regular season, but when that ball is coming at you 100 miles an hour and it's cold, that's a difference maker. That is a difference maker. Not saying they can't overcome it, but if you ever been to Michigan, Chicago, and parts of Ohio in the winter when it's cold, baby, let me tell you, it get cold. It's cold right now.
Yeah,
give me the Bears.
Around, like at game time today, it will be 20 degrees. So it's gonna feel like 10.
See, like, look at that, bro. Like, that is an X factor you cannot even like.
It says cloudy conditions will continue all day. The lowest feels like it will be around -3.
You can't account for that. You cannot account for that.
So like just because it says it might be 20, it says the lowest today, it will feel like -3.
Do you know what that's like?
It's terrible.
Like, you've played in cold weather. I've played in cold weather, obviously, because where we're from. But
and there's no dome.
Account for that. Ain't no dome. That wind hits you, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
It is a done deal. You cannot.
I really honestly wish it would have snowed today. A snow game would have been so due. We're so due for a playoff snow game. We're so due for a playoff snow game.
Fair enough. But
as NFL fans, we deserve one.
True. We're going to take another quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll finish out the NFL and talk about some other things that are popping up in the world of sports. You are watching 4th and 15 with Mel and Jacob here on the 216 Sports Network.
If you're looking for a good brand of clothing at affordable prices, then TGBG is just for you. Hats, shirts, hoodies, and custom gear all at your fingertips. And just in time for the weekend is Free Ship Friday. Free shipping on all orders. Just use the code FREESHIPFRIDAY at checkout. And all Godfidence items are 10% off. Head on over to tgbgbrand.com and get your orders in for your custom clothing now. TGBG is the official outfitter of the 216 Sports Network. TGBG, to God be the glory. Are you ready for a snack or a treat that satisfies that sweet tooth? Well, Clarissa's Confections has what you need. All her treats are custom made and centered around your taste buds' desires. Place your orders now by emailing her at sweetsbycarice@gmail.com or call her at 440-805-4303. Got a taste for something sweet? Planning a party? Or just want a midnight snack? Clarissa's Confections is a local treat maker here in Cleveland and has made many delectable and delicious treats for the young and old. Her treats are made to order and can be customized to your needs at any occasion. To place your orders, email her at sweetsbyclarice@gmail.com or call her at 440-805-4303.
And we are back. All right. Last game on the NFL slate today, Texans and Patriots. I have to be honest with you. As much as I like the way the Patriots have been playing, I am not sold.
No.
I'm not sold on them only because I saw with my own two peepers what the Texans defense did to not only Aaron Rodgers, but the entire Steelers offense. And I was not happy about that. It actually made me nervous.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a minute, and I've been saying this right before the playoffs start. Houston is the scariest team in this playoffs for the AFC, simply because they have the best defense in the NFL. They really do, and they're a well coached defense. They're a really well coached defense. They they're a really well coached team, honestly. And the Texans, honestly, I would pick the Texans to win the Super Bowl if they had a coherent offense. I mean, their offense is horrific.
Very true.
The offense is so bad. It's like the defense is really scoring the touchdowns and everything. Like defense is getting the offense in short, manageable positions. The defense is so disruptive, and they're so good and they're so fast. And I think
And that's a credit. That's a credit to D'Amico Ryans because obviously he's a defensive mind. He ain't been too long out of playing. And if you want to be honest, if he's built like he can still play. So
Most definitely.
so realistically, I'm thinking that don't get me wrong, love Drake May. Drake May has been playing awesome this year. However, this is another another situation where you are going with a lot of team speed on defense, and we
Yeah,
saw it. We
and he's
saw it,
young.
and they're young and they hungry.
Yeah,
They hungry. That's the scary. That's the
and and,
real scary part.
and
They hungry.
this how I look at it. It's gonna be D'Amico Ryan versus uh my I just had a
Mike,
brain fart.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, it's gonna be a matchup like that, and it's really gonna be Drake May versus D'Amico Ryan because
Mhm.
I know D'Amico Ryan's gonna be throwing so much different type of different simulated pressures, different types of just looks, just don't trying to throw the young QB off. At the end of the day, Drake May has played a lot of football, but it's this NFL playoff football is always going to be different, and I think I would love to see the matchup between D'Amico Ryan and him because he's going to be the one. He's the one on the field playing. Yes, Mike Vrabel and the coordinators for the Patriots are going to play a role, but it's really going to be Drake May out there trying to uh, discover what they're going to be, what he's going to be playing against, and look at his pre-snap looks and all that. It's going to be a great game to watch because two well coached teams playing that nothing like it.
According to the weather report in New England, it's going to be 36 degrees and rain. That ain't good.
Yeah, no.
That means you're gonna be running the ball a lot, and you're gonna be giving yourself.
I mean that could kind of help the Patriots a little bit because the Texans are a very well team that knows how to rush the passer, and to who has a better run game, it's the Patriots. The Patriots has a better
Very
run game.
true. Very true.
So I mean that can help the Patriots in a way, but at the end of the day, that defense is coming fast and they play hard and they really hit hard and they got some really good linebackers at the end of the day. So
And that's my point. You're gonna be running the ball a lot. Yes, the Patriots have the better run game. However,
you
how
run right into
long-
Will Anderson.
right, and how long can you rely on that without having to stretch the field?
Yeah.
That's my question.
I think it's
Because-
going to be a game where you have to manage. Whoever wins the field advantage is going to win the game. Like, let's say, for example, you're at your 50-yard line and you don't decide to go for it on fourth down. Nowadays, in new generation football, teams get past the 50, they go for it on fourth down regardless. Let's say a team's on their 50, and let's say Houston Texans are on their 50, and they decide to punt the ball, and they pin them in their 5, right? And then they get 3 and out. Now they're in good position. The Texans are in good position to get the ball back just because of a punt and not getting it on fourth down. Same thing as we saw yesterday. Same thing we saw yesterday with the 49ers. They could have punted the ball and put them in and put the Seahawks in low managed situation, but they didn't. They went for it, ran that triple option or whatever. Didn't work. Put the Seahawks in very low situation. So I think whoever wins the field battle, whoever has the better field advantage, is probably going to come out in this game because it's not going to be fireworks. I don't see this being a really high scoring game.
I don't either, and that's why I'm saying give me the Texans because it's going to be a chess match. D'Amico Ryan and Mike Vrabel are very good coaches, very good, excuse me, very good defensive coaches, and that's where you gotta draw the line. Like, who's gonna make the better strategy?
Yeah. And then that's why I was saying it's going to be Drake May gonna be out there. He's going to have to decipher all them coverages. It's going to be an interesting game to watch to see how good the young QB is going to play.
I agree. I also think that, and we also got to take into consideration too. This is a 3:00 game.
Yeah.
This is a 3:00 game, so the Texans are not used to playing that early. Central Standard Time, is different from East Coast time.
Right.
So I am wondering, one, can the Texans overcome the weather? I think they can. And two, can they overcome the time difference? I think they can. And if they can do those both very well, or at least enough to keep them in the game, I think they win this game and go to the AFC Championship where there's no Bo Nix and they dominate the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the backup coming in for Bo Nix, Jared, he's not. He started. I think it's like 1 for 3 starts in the NFL. I don't know. I mean,
Bad.
it The only way I see them really winning with him is if the defense just like shuts down whoever. If they play the Patriots or play the Texans, if they would have to literally shut them down defensively, like under like 17 points, I would say that's like the only way.
As you can see, my daughter is in the background. Beat it, girl. Yeah, I do think that, and I think his name is Stidwell or something like that. That is bad,
Spell or something, yeah.
but it's not saying it can't be done. What I'm saying is it's going to take a lot because this gives you some time to heal up a little bit. However, you are still missing your quarterback who's led you all the way. And barring some super soldier serum, I don't think he's coming back.
No, they already
And
confirmed he's out for the season.
yeah, so it's a done deal. And you're playing a you're possibly going to be playing one of two defenses that can either hit you or hit you and hurt you.
Yeah,
So
and yeah,
I give me the Texans, man. I got to go with the Texans.
yeah, most definitely. And honestly, and another take from this, if you look at like if you just look at the game log and turnovers and stuff, the Bills had 5 turnovers. If you ask me, if the one team turns the ball over 5 times, they should lose by like 20. So like the fact that the Bills were even in that game to even go push it to overtime and had a possibility to even win on a toss-up 50-50 play, that just shows even if they had Bo Nix, I wouldn't even know if I would pick them against the Texans or the Patriots to be quite frank with you, because if you make a team turn the ball over 5 times and you're in a good game with them, that's not good.
You know what? You brought up a very valid point, and I cannot argue that. So you are absolutely right. I give you your flowers, man. I give you your flowers. All right. Gonna move things from football to baseball. Um, we see a lot of trades going on, and Bichette signs with the Mets. I know you're not a big baseball person, but I heard this on the radio, and it prompts me to ask: should there be a salary cap in baseball?
Could there be? I mean, of course, anything can
No,
happen.
not could there be. Should there be?
Should there be? I mean, you know, I always have said this. I think there should be a salary cap in baseball. Then when I talk to a baseball fan, they be like, "No, I don't see why." So like, I mean, so it's mixed reviews when I ask like hardcore baseball fans. Honestly, personally, me, yeah, of course you should. I mean, one team shouldn't just be able to buy the best players in the world, but at the same time, you know, I don't. Baseball is such a game where like if you do have the best players in the world, right? Like
You're not guaranteed to win.
right. So it's just like it really that like we saw the Dodgers obviously win back to back years, but like the Yankees are a team that gets big name players and stuff, and you never see them end up winning. So even the Mets last year, so I don't know if that formula exactly actually works. Just gaining all the best players in the world and put them on your team, because it's baseball is such a sport where like I'm not gonna say luck, but it's hard. It's hard to just go out there and win, even if you have the best players in the world. It's not a basketball or football situation where you're just going at someone every single play. It goes down to pitchers and bullpen, to be honest with you. So whoever has the best pitcher and bullpen towards the end of the season, I mean, but at the other caveat to that is the Dodgers bullpen wasn't even that fantastic this year. They didn't have like one of the best bullpens, and they ended up still winning. So it honestly divvies down to if you can make the playoffs. That's why I said bullpen and longevity. And you make the playoffs, get in the playoffs. You never know what can happen in baseball in October. So it all comes down to making the playoffs and getting to October. If you get to October, play on.
Okay. Once again, I'm gonna pull out my devil's advocate card. I am I am of two minds of this. The first mind is yes, it should be, because there are owners in the MLB who do not want to spend that kind of money. i.e.,
Right.
the Dolans, i.e., the White Sox, and they're in a bigger market than the Guardians. I don't like saying that word just for the record, but they're in a bigger market. They're on the south side of Chicago. Uh, the Diamondbacks, you know, they've managed to win one or two here and there. So, do I think there should be one at some point? Yes, because you got to draw the line.
Yeah.
Got to draw. And what I mean by draw the line is what's going to happen when you've already seen Otani's contract. Is he going to stay in LA? Probably not, because at some point that contract's going to get too much to handle. They're going to have to either trade him or release him or buy him out, one of the two, or one of the three. But what's going to happen when you feel like as an owner you can't and don't want to spend that kind of money, even though, like the Guardians, you got one of the best farm systems, if not the best farm system in all of baseball. And if you don't feel like spending that kind of money, what's that going to say to the other smaller market teams? Is that going to lead? Is that going to lead to mutiny? Is that going to lead to, you know, we ain't got to listen to the other owners? Because you're right, the Yankees, for a long time, the Yankees bought up every good player they could, didn't win, or barely won, or came close. Boston, the same thing, barely won, came close, won. Uh, Even the Dodgers, Magic Johnson he's in that ownership group. I don't think we would have saw that contract without ownerships that got money like that.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that, I can see where the Dodgers ownership group, the Yankees ownership group, the Boston's ownership group, even the Cubs ownership group, I can see where they're saying, why is that our fault? Y'all don't want to spend money.
Yeah.
So again, I'm of two minds of it. If it happens, great. If it don't, something's gonna have to give to a point where these small market owners are gonna have to either increase the ownership group or start spending the money. Because
Yeah.
we all
I
know
mean, I think you get your answer if, like, let's say like the Dodgers or like these big name market teams that are only, let's say the next 10 years, the Dodgers and the whoever and like these all top market teams that pay that will spend big money on big name players. If they keep winning and let's say the MLB does nothing about it, then at that point the two things are going to happen: either the ratings will go down, or B, the ratings aren't going to go down, and baseball is not going to change anything, and the lower level market teams are going to be forced to pay. You know what I mean? So like, if the viewing ship don't go down and the baseball is not losing no money, they're not going to really.
and that's the crazy part because baseball viewership was down last year.
So we're going to have to see what the MLB does about it. If it continuously drops down year by year by year by year, then at some point they're going to have to do something about the salary cap.
But here's the thing, baseball is such a traditional sport.
Yeah.
They don't change often.
Yeah.
They don't. And because they don't change often, you don't see a lot of rule changes. Like, if we're going to be honest about this, because we're one of the few that are, the steroid era, especially for a fan like me, the steroid era was like the best era of baseball.
Yeah, you got dudes hitting the balls 30, 50 feet out of the park.
It's not even about the batters hitting the ball. It was so exciting.
Of course.
Like watching double plays, watching, triples happen. And again, this was at a time where there was no test for steroids in baseball. Not only that, think about all the power hitters who didn't need it. Bell, Thomas, Bonds before the clear, Griffey, like they made it so exciting. And then when Mark McGwire and Sammy had the chase, how could you not love watching that happen? So for them to literally just turn a blind eye to the steroid era, I'm thinking they're not going to change a lot with this payroll issue.
Probably not.
And again, I'm of two minds. If they do it, great. Let everybody have a chance. If they don't, that's fine too, because as an owner who's in a big market like New York, you got the Mets and the Yankees. Down the road, you got the Phillies. Up the road, you got Boston. Out in the Midwest, you got Chicago Cubs on the north side, Dodgers on the West Coast. It's not your job to make up for other teams. It's not. So if they don't change it, I'm not going to be too mad. I just think it was something worth asking, because how do we get to a point where there's more parity in baseball than it is now?
Yeah.
So I personally, again, do it, great. Don't do it. This owners meeting in February gonna be real interesting.
Yeah,
And
and like every owner is just not. It's not like these lower market teams are just like broke or nothing. Like every owner in the MLB has over $1 billion. I'm pretty sure.
exactly.
Like all these owners have billions of dollars. Like, there's no really reason to just. I mean, it just depends on who the owner is of the team. So like, it's two things are going to happen. The MLB is going to change it because of viewership, and they need to do better for views, or B, the views are going to stay up, and they're going to get same amount of traction on social medias and all this type of stuff. They're still getting paid. If the MLB don't lose no revenue, then why would they change anything? And now if they start losing revenue and they end up changing, they might end up changing something. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't think the revenue is going to change. I don't think they're going to lose drastically amount of money to be like, oh yeah, we have to change this because this is the reason why we're losing such X amount of money.
And the crazy part is, even with viewership being down, they didn't lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
So
not to mention the World Baseball Classic is coming up, so all eyes are going to be on that. And you literally have the best baseball players in all of MLB playing for their respective countries. Uh, I still think that's a great aspect. Excuse
yeah,
me. And with that, I really don't think that when spring training rolls around, I don't think there will be a change in the salary cap. Honestly, I don't.
yeah, I don't think so either.
All right. With that, we're gonna take another quick commercial break. Gonna bounce around to your favorite sport, and we see what your thoughts are on it.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things that popped up in the last couple of days that I know you got to take on. So
Okay.
get back. We're going to talk about that. You're watching 4th and 15 with Mel and Jacob here on the 216 Sports Network.
Are you a team looking for a new look on the sideline this season? A company looking for a more casual look? Or just trying to introduce something new to your closet space? TGBG is the brand for you. Jackets, polos, hoodies, and everything in between. TGBG has the clothing you need to serve a purpose for every occasion. To place your orders, contact them on Facebook and Instagram. Check out their website at www.tgbgbrand.com. Email them at tgbgbrand@gmail.com or call them at 440-470-4234. TGBG is also the official outfitter of the 216 Sports Network. TGBG, to God be the glory. If you're looking for a good brand of clothing at affordable prices, then TGBG is just for you. Hats, shirts, hoodies, and custom gear all at your fingertips. And just in time for the weekend is Free Ship Friday. Free shipping on all orders. Just use the code FREESHIPFRIDAY at checkout. And all Godfidence items are 10% off. Head on over to tgbgbrand.com and get your orders in for your custom clothing now. TGBG is the official outfitter of the 216 Sports Network. TGBG, to God be the glory.
All right, we are back. Now, I did tell you there were some developments uh in a sport that you love. However, we're gonna hit this real quick. I don't know if you are or are not, but I want to talk about this really, really quickly. NCAA hoops. I gotta ask because with the men's, it's looking pretty clear. Obviously, uh, UConn and most of the SEC teams like Texas, even though Texas really ain't an SEC team in basketball, they're making their case. But you see, UNC is struggling in the ACC. Are you surprised at that?
No, they've been trending down the last couple of years, honestly, and you see it with Kentucky too. You know these ever since you can pay these college athletes millions of dollars, you see it in football. You ain't gonna see these big blue blood teams being the best teams in the world no more. It's just not happening. When you can pay a kid $4 or $5 million to not sit on the bench and play, they're gonna choose to play and get $5 million than to sit on the bench and make like $1 million. Of course, you're gonna want to get paid more than that. I mean, I'm not saying, obviously I'm kind of exaggerating with the numbers, and some players don't get paid that much. But at the end of the day, even if it's 500,000 compared to 200,000, you're gonna go play somewhere at a smaller school for $500,000 than to sit on the bench at Kentucky making $200,000. So ever since you're able to pay these players, you're not going to see these big blue bloods teams making it. And we just saw a couple years ago, UNC was in the first four. They wasn't even in the bracket. So like, I'm not surprised. You know, and then you seeing like the number one recruit. He went to BYU. You know why? Because BYU can pay you, and that was probably one of his favorite schools growing up. I don't know his exact reason, but I know getting paid boils it down to one, because you're not going to BYU to play basketball if you're the number one recruit in the country. That don't even sound correct. You can go to Duke or Kentucky or Kansas, but you're not seeing that no more. BYU, like, come on now.
In basketball, you would be correct because you hardly ever see BYU even talked about in basketball.
And
right now,
in there.
Yeah, and right now they're sitting fourth in the Big 12. So yes, I agree with the fact that, you know, paying this NIL stuff, even though I feel like it's getting out of hand.
Oh man.
However,
I want to ask you. I want to move to college football after this about something.
And that's perfectly fine. But I wanted to touch on this because it's different for basketball than it is for football. So, because you mentioned the player that went to BYU, do you see the same trend for basketball, or do you think we will see the same trend for basketball that we've seen for football when it comes to the NIL?
I mean, yeah, we've already seen it. You know, you go back you go back 7 years ago in college football, not a long time. 7-10 years, not a long time. You go 7-10 years ago, the SEC is a dominant team, like the dominant everything. And then you fast forward 10 years later to now, they're the team getting picked on in bowl games. They're like 1 for 8 in bowl games or something like that. And this will be since 2021, we have not seen a SEC team even reach the national championship. So, and you see more smaller teams becoming like a little better in college football. So, you haven't seen Georgia in there. I mean, you watched Georgia get beat last year by Notre Dame. You know, you got even Miami making it, but we haven't seen Miami. I'm 21 years old. You know, I heard about the Hurricanes back in the day, but I wasn't born during that time. So I don't watch the documentaries. I don't watch some of the games and stuff, of course. But at the end of the day, my whole lifetime, I've never seen Miami good until NIL came to thing. So, I mean, it's fun to see some historic teams back in the day become better. Like even Notre Dame, you can say, like being good. Just some nostalgic teams with some, with some like important franchises. And even it's cool to see a team like Texas Tech play good, even though they was found to be very overrated. It's kind of fun, but like, uh, college football has bigger things to worry about than NIL. College football has way more bigger things as far as in like their rules, and the way they do things in the off season and their postseason, and they got a lot more things to worry about than NIL, honestly.
And that's a good point because when you look at the NIL situation in football as opposed to basketball, it is vastly different. Like you said, uh, you pay the kid X amount of dollars to go to BYU instead of going to the proverbial blue bloods in Arizona, Duke, Carolina, Kentucky. That shows a lot. Like,
Yeah.
And I think
And then you would even see how with Michigan, how they got Bryce Underwood. He was not. Come on. I mean, I understand he's a Michigan dude and he grew up in Michigan, but in the day he didn't commit to LSU for no reason. He didn't commit to LSU for no reason. No NIL, no Bryce Underwood, and that's simple. And like
very
you
true.
keep seeing these big number one, like for example, it's not like if you wouldn't be surprised if Michigan got the number one running back, right? But you would be surprised if they land the number one quarterback. Like, come on now, like be so
Yeah.
real. Like them type of players, even no matter where you live, they end up at Ohio State, they end up at Georgia, they end up at Alabama, they end up at LSU, they end up at places nothing like Michigan. I don't know the last time Michigan had a number one freaking quarterback.
That would have been not a number one, but he was top 5, and that would have been Denard Robinson, but that was before the NIL.
Yeah.
And
But like Bryce Underwood is like one of the most hyped up quarterbacks in the history of like this dude is so hyped up, and he's expected a lot out of him at a very young age too as a true freshman.
And that's
like
coming from a Michigan person. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, I mean he has a lot of high expectations on him. I mean I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. I mean I think it's not his fault. You know what I mean of how the season went. I heard Kyle Whittingham say he didn't have a QB coach with him every day. That's coaching. You got to develop this young dude. He got all the skill sets, but at the end of the day, you still got to develop a player. A fresh 18-year-old kid is not fully developed at his football skills. He's not at his maximum. His ceiling, he's nowhere near his ceiling. And to get to his ceiling, he's going to need some good coaching. And that's when you see players make that big jump. We didn't see Bryce Underwood from beginning of the season make that huge leap at the end of the season. He looked like the same player. You know what I mean? He actually looked better at the beginning of the season, honestly. I mean, he didn't. It's not like he got worse, but it's not. I'm not saying like he got worse, but it looked like it's just things.
The game caught up with him.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it's his fault. He's a true freshman. I always had this. I was always saying this as a Michigan fan. I'd rather see us lose by Bryce Underwood going out there throwing 30 to 35 passes and throwing 5 picks, and we said, "Oh, we lost because of him," instead of him throwing 18 passes, him throwing 0 touchdowns, and then he throws a pick at the end of the game because we had to force the ball down the field because we didn't want to throw the ball the whole game because we wanted to run the ball and be conservative with our quarterback. How would he progress over time if he's only throwing like 15 passes to 18 passes a game? How is he going to progress over time when he in adversity strikes and he throws a pick and he has to go back out there and not? You know what I mean? You can't just expect your true freshman at the end to run the ball the whole game. Then at the end of the game, you want him to just sit there and just sit in the pocket and dime things up. It's not going to happen. In all 3 of their losses, you saw that this year. Oklahoma ran the ball majority of the game. Then it comes to the end of the game, we're down by 2 touchdowns. Now you want him to force the ball down the field. It's not going to work, and he's going to end up throwing a pick. Same thing with USC. Same thing with Ohio State. As soon as Ohio State made that big lead and we got into the second half, deep in the second half, they wanted to just throw. That's not good. When you got a young quarterback playing a defense that knows you're in a passing situation, 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna work. When the defense knows, oh, we're up by freaking 2-3 touchdowns, we gonna sit back. Like it makes the game so easy for a corner and safeties and linebackers to know that you can just sit back in zone because you know they're not about to run the ball no more because you don't wore them out already. The game's basically over at that point, and
you've played quarterback, so you would know better than anybody about that scenario.
Yeah, you don't want to put your young, fresh quarterback in situations like that. That's just how I look at it. I think they was just very, very poorly prepared and coached all year.
Okay, fair enough. I was just looking at the some of the standings in some of the conferences, and I saw Nebraska is at the top of the Big Ten. I don't understand that one, but are you? Because honestly, I'm gonna just be honest. It's too many games to keep up with during the course of a week for NCAA hoops. So my question to you is, do you get excited when the tournament finally comes around?
I would say probably when I was younger. I mean, now, you know, the NCAA tournament, it's good. I mean, I don't, and I mean, it's like so nostalgic because like it's March Madness. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no matter what, the best team is not going to be crowned at the end of it because it's a 1-game series and anything can happen in one game. You know what I mean? So at the end of the year, you're not going to get some years you do get the best team genuinely that season. It all boils down to who's the hottest, who's playing good at that moment, and who's going to win them 4 quarters of basketball. I mean, not 4 quarters, the 2 halves of basketball. So it's honestly, I'm excited to make my bracket, but when it goes farther and farther, the excitement goes down. I'll say that.
Fair enough. Okay. I do have to bring this back up. We got it because we forgot this. And I forgot it on purpose because I want your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Stefanski gets fired from the Browns. They keep Andrew Berry. Jim Schwartz is looking like the leading candidate for the head coaching job, and I wouldn't be upset with that. However, Stefanski reunites, per ESPN. Stefanski reunites with the Falcons and Kirk Cousins. Were you expecting him to be hired this quickly?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't know teams was going to be honestly craving for him. I didn't know he was like such a hot prospect in the coaching carousel. Honestly, you saw the Ravens even interview him. So I look at, if I'm an owner, I look at Kevin Stefanski as a very toxic individual. If you ask me, the way things was ran in Cleveland this year was so toxic, so abundantly clear toxic. Like so toxic, like even with the whole Shador thing, like him, the first string not even knowing, hearing his cadence, and all the way until he came into the game, like everything was just toxic about that. Why would you want a young building team like the Falcons who's trying to build their team up with a young quarterback? Why would you want that toxicness? He seemed like a very toxic. If I'm an owner, I don't want no toxic energy. You know what I mean? So I'm not a big fan. I didn't know he would have even got a head coaching job anywhere in the NFL, honestly.
Okay, fair enough. Also, I'm sure you've heard this as well as I. There are rumblings that Coach Prime might be on the Browns list.
No.
Not hold up.
I don't
saying it is, but you've heard it.
I haven't heard it from no. I haven't seen or heard it from no
reliable source. We know that.
No credible.
But the fact that it's out there. But the fact that it's out there, I have to add. We got to do our due diligence.
It's out there because Shador plays for the team. That's where it's out there. This is my thought on it. Deion Sanders has had no success at Colorado. He does not deserve that at all. I'm a big Deion Sanders fan, but you hear Deion Sanders land quarterbacks, top quarterback, top this. He getting the recruits, but like you don't see the on the field produce. You don't see, even when they're in situations, you see some bad coaching at certain spots of the game. Like I don't think Deion Sanders should be even credible to even the job because he has not shown nothing at Colorado to be like, okay, yeah, he's a good enough. And I feel like if he was being successful at Colorado, then I think honestly they probably would have hired him. Maybe, you never know. But at the end of the day, Deion Sanders has not showed us nothing on the college level to be like to glamour about. There hasn't even been a close playoff push. There has not been nothing. I mean, you had a Heisman Trophy winner, but what is that at the end of the day? That's not winning.
Okay. You're right.
I mean,
it's for
and
Colorado.
I would love to see Colorado. Disclaimer: I'm not a Colorado hater. I'm just telling you the facts, and that's the facts. I'm
not arguing.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people who might be listening to this thinking like, "Oh, he's just a hater of Colorado." disclaimer, I'm not a hater of Colorado. I would love to see Colorado from the Big 12 do some things with Deion Sanders. That probably would put
which
viewership up. And
which
you
is
see how
what I
many,
was.
you see how Deion Sanders packs out Border Stadium. Like there'd be so much like Lil Wayne, so much celebrities. It'd be looking so nice there in
Which is something
Colorado.
I'm actually glad that they did. I'm glad that they went back to the Big 12 because
Yeah, and I
you
would love to
didn't
see
even
Colorado
belong
do
in that.
good.
You didn't belong in the Pac-10, Pac-12. You didn't belong there, and you weren't going to out recruit California. Like those kids live to go to USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, now Utah. You weren't gonna beat that. You weren't. And as much as I love Prime, I'm glad he said it because when that happened and he got the job, he was like, the first thing we're gonna do is move back to the Big 12 because we don't belong in the Pac-12. And it showed.
Yeah.
It showed. So, last question on this. Who do you think or who do you want as a Browns fan, supporter, journalist? Who do you want to see as the next Browns head coach?
Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you think on this one.
Dude, I mean, I don't know because like it seems like they mess up every single time. I mean, I think Jim Schwartz will be a leading candidate right now. But yeah, man, I'll probably have to go with Jim Schwartz. I wouldn't go with I wouldn't I wouldn't go with the offensive coordinator, and I wouldn't. And you see the Mike McDaniel's thing flying around, but I got a little theory on him. Kind of like I
He's
think
toxic too.
I don't even know about toxic. I mean, I think he played with an incoherent quarterback that should have been out there. But I honestly believe just that. Like same thing with Robert Saleh. Like he was the Jets head coach, and
Right.
he did a fantastic job for the 49ers this year defensively. And so with that being said, I'm brought up him to say some people are just better at being coordinators. And I think Mike McDaniels fall in that category of being a very, very smart individual who is a great offensive coordinator. And I would love to see him go to my favorite team in the NFL, the Eagles. I would love to see him be an offensive coordinator for the Eagles or be an offensive coordinator anywhere. I just don't think he like you said, toxic. He got some little toxicness in him too. I think he'll be better off being a coordinator than rather be a head coach. Some people aren't built to be a head coach because some people are just really gifted at calling plays and being a coordinator. And I think he falls in that category as Robert Saleh. And I think, like you saw reports of Robert Saleh not trying, but getting some coaching interest. I think some people are better off being coordinators and need to stick to it. And I think Mike McDaniels fall in that category of he should just be an offensive coordinator because that's what he does best. And he's young. In the future, in 10, 15 years from now, the dude's probably in his 30s still or young 40s. I don't know his exact age, but he's definitely not in his high 40s or 50s. In the future
Right.
from now, he might be developing to a great head coach. You never know. But I think currently Mike McDaniels should just stick as being a coordinator because he's young and that's what he does good right now.
All right. I'm not gonna play devil advocate. I'm just gonna say what I would like to see. Keep Jim Schwartz as the head coach. And if you could swing it, get Todd Monken as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I mean, I
I
wouldn't
don't
be mad
know.
at Jesse Minner. Jesse
No,
Minner for the
no,
defensive
no.
coordinator for the why not?
Here's why I'm saying this. And then I don't know why, and I don't know what they're thinking. However, Todd Monken is one of, if not the best NFL offensive coordinator we have seen in the last 15 years. Why would you not, if you have Dylan Gabriel for right now, Shador Sanders for right now, and for the foreseeable future, Deshaun Watson, why would you not want to be in that coach's room with those three?
Yeah.
I honestly think the one person that could make that work would be Todd Monken. And I'm not understanding why the Browns have not gone and got him for an interview as the offensive coordinator. Steal him from Baltimore. Steal him from Georgia. I don't care who you steal him from. Steal him because You got three dynamic quarterbacks, all bring something to the table. Now, granted, we don't know what not Shador, but we don't know what Deshaun Watson is going to have in the tank. But you got Shador and you got Dylan. Make that work. Your defense is already there, and your defense is only there for the next 1, maybe 2 years. Make this work while you have the tools.
And part of making that work is having a really good draft this year.
Hey, that's on Barry. But realistically, what you have now, you could make work. You got Fannin.
You need some more receivers. Then you go in the draft.
That's my point. You got Fannin and you got Isaiah Bond right now.
You got Jerry Jeudy with
get rid of him.
He leading the NFL. He has leading stat in the NFL though.
Drops.
Yeah, man.
Get rid of him. He got to go.
Yeah, and get rid of every toxic player. You want to drop all the passes, and then you want to get in Shador's face screaming at him and stuff, man. Yeah, get him up out of here. I have a question for you.
All right, go ahead.
College football.
Oh, we're gonna get that right after this commercial break.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. You watching 4th and 15 with Mel and Jacob right here on the 216 Sports Network.
If you're looking for a good brand of clothing at affordable prices, then TGBG is just for you. Hats, shirts, hoodies, and custom gear all at your fingertips. And just in time for the weekend is Free Ship Friday. Free shipping on all orders. Just use the code FREESHIPFRIDAY at checkout. And all Godfidence items are 10% off. Head on over to tgbgbrand.com and get your orders in for your custom clothing now. TGBG is the official outfitter of the 216 Sports Network. TGBG, to God be the glory. Are you ready for a snack or a treat that satisfies that sweet tooth? Well, Clarissa's Confections has what you need. All her treats are custom made and centered around your taste buds' desires. Place your orders now by emailing her at sweetsbycarice@gmail.com or call her at 440-805-4303.
And we are back. Now, as we wait for Jacob, I can't even say, I can't even say this wasn't a surprising college football season because the damn show was. However, we're going to start in Division 3 because I want to run down all the divisions before we get to where we got to get. Because I know you itching. So, we're going to start in Division 3. John Carroll left the OAC, joined the NCAC, ran the table, and then in the second round had to see Mount Union. So you left one conference to get away from the thorn in your side, and then you had to see him in the second round of the D3 playoffs. However, you get the 3-point win, and then you cruise all the way up until the semifinals. You get crushed by North Central, defending national champion D3. Wisconsin River Falls makes it and destroys North Central. Were you surprised not seeing Mount Union in the D3 title game, especially when this game was in Canton, which is right up the road?
Yeah, I don't exactly know, honestly, man.
Fair enough, because like I said, I had to ask because for me as a Mount Union fan, it was weird not seeing. It's beginning to get heartbreaking
Yeah.
because I'm so used to seeing Mount Union in the semifinals in the Stag Bowl. Like it's getting to where
Are they getting paid NIL in D3 and stuff?
I don't know. That is something we'll have to look up.
I'm about to check that out real quick.
I've never had to never had to look that up because I didn't think that was a possibility at that division.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Cause it says no. It says no. Yeah, I had a feeling because some D1 players don't get paid.
Of course, I mean it's not everybody,
Yeah.
but again, it's not the NIL thing that bothers me. It's the what do we have to do? Because again, I know some Mount Union fans are going to see this and they're asking the same question I'm asking. What we got to do to get back to where we are used to, get back to what we know, which is winning. Like this is not the trend I was hoping to see Mount Union in. However, it is the trend that we see now. But something's got to shake. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just me.
Most definitely.
All right, we move on to Division Two. Ferris State obviously destroys Harding, and Trinidad's old school, showing that they doing it they thing without him. However, again, this is one of those scenarios. I don't think D2's getting NIL money either. But is there anybody you think that can dethrone Ferris State at the moment?
Probably not. No, they look like they're probably gonna keep running supreme over there. And they
Fair
keep
enough.
producing high D1 level players. So seems like they got everything under control.
All right, you got it. Now going to the Celebration Bowl, Black College, HBCU. The de facto national championship at HBCU. South Carolina State beats Prairie View A&M 40-38 in 4 overtimes. I made a video, and I know you saw it. So I'm going to ask you, because it only makes sense to ask. Do you think there should be a HBCU 12-team playoff instead of the Celebration Bowl?
Shoot. Why not? Why not? You might as well let everybody have fun. I don't. The reason why I say why not is you're not going to lose money. so like that's my biggest thing. And then you get. The fans probably want it, and the fans want it, and you get paid more money. I don't see how it could possibly hurt you.
Now, granted, most it's a split. Some teams are D1, some teams are D2. However, I think if they played this right, I think this could really work, given that the talent level is almost even. So I asked you after I made the video because it only makes sense. And I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the money. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the Celebration Bowl. Love it. However, that is strictly a contract between the SWAC and MEAC. You don't have anybody else in that, in that contention.
Right.
So why not? Why not throw everybody in the pool? You want it? Come get it. It's right here for you. I just feel like that would be something worth watching. I feel like that would be something amazing for the sport, like for that level. And like you said, what could hurt? The money would come in. I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
All right. Now we come to yours, and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we're going to we're going to rewind. So we're going to rewind. Start in the CFP, obviously, but we're going to rewind to December 19th. Alabama knocks off Oklahoma by 10. Keep in mind, Oklahoma did beat Alabama earlier in the season. Were you surprised that Alabama won that game and moved on?
No, not at all. Simply because Alabama lost that game in the regular season, but at the same time, they lost themselves that game. They turned the ball over like 4 or 5 times in that game, and then also they had more yards. They had more. We had like double more yards than Oklahoma, and that just gives a standing ovation to their defense. Because at the end of the day, their defense is the reason why they made the playoffs. That was back-to-back games where their defense won them the games. 2 games back-to-back, Tennessee and Alabama. They played Tennessee and Alabama back-to-back weeks. In both those games in back-to-back weeks, I promise you can go look it up. Oklahoma literally shut them down defensively. Like, not shut them down, but turnovers. They got a lot of turnovers. Their defense scored a lot of points, and they put their offense in a lot of short, manageable positions. And in both them games, guess what? Tennessee and Alabama both outscored them. I mean, not outscored them, outgained them in the passing. And they had way more yards offensively, way more yards than them offensively. But guess what? They didn't win at the end of the day. So I didn't think Alabama was even going to lose that game because the only way Oklahoma was to be able to win that game is if they played that same way again. And I just didn't think they was going to strike and do that again. Being able to get like 4 turnovers in a game,
it's hard.
That's hard. Like, no matter how good your defense is, if you get there and sit there and get 4 turnovers in one game, that you should win the game regardless of how many yards the team has or nothing. So yeah, I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Fair enough. No, I was not sold on Oklahoma just because it's Oklahoma. And I'm not saying that to be funny. If there is an Oklahoma fan, I apologize, but let's just be real. You in the SEC now. You're playing a different type of football. So you're in a war, dogfight, brawl, whatever you want to call it. You in that every week. So, I mean, yeah, you beat Bama, but what else?
You gotta do that. You gotta
do that every week.
Yeah, you did that. You beat them in not a way that was dominant. Like, it's not like they went out there and just offensively, defensively. You know, they went out there and got turnovers. Kudos to them. But I just couldn't see it happening back-to-back games. Not back-to-back. They didn't play, but 2 games playing against the same team. I didn't think they was going to strike like that again.
Fair enough. Okay, moving on to December 20th. The Miami-Texas A&M game was literally a snooze fest. And as much as I hate to say that, it was the truth. Not a lot of scoring, a whole lot of defense, which is not a bad thing.
I like watching defensive good games.
I do too, but the way Texas A&M's defense was touted, I expected more than 3 points. I expected more than 3 points. Didn't happen. You're out. Sorry.
But then, that just shows you right there. Teams need to have better scheduled teams in their conference. Like, Texas A&M didn't play Georgia. They didn't play Alabama. They didn't play these big teams in the SEC. They played all the lower SEC teams all year. Then their hardest game all year was Texas, and Texas wasn't even that good of an SEC team, and Texas beat them badly. And going into the playoffs, it wasn't surprising to see Texas A&M lose to Miami. I mean, we have not seen no evidence of Texas A&M playing good. And I know we're going to go on the topic of Ohio State and Miami probably next, but that even how I look at it with Ohio State's schedule. Both their hard games, they didn't score no points. They was this highly touted, they're got the best offense in America. Then 2 of the hardest defenses they play, they pee the bed. I don't know any words to say it. They literally peed the pants on national television. I mean, it was enjoyable for me to watch, of course. You know, and
that was the only.
That's why if you check the TikTok of everyone out there, go follow the TikTok of 216 Sports Network. If you see me on the TikTok, in my prediction, that was literally what I said. I said Ohio State has not showed enough data on their schedule of them playing a good team and them going through that. They played 1 hard game up into that Miami game, and that's why I just didn't have enough evidence to say I can fully believe Ohio State is going to play good, because when you don't schedule teams all year, you might think a team look good. Like, we thought Texas A&M was that good, But at the end of the day, Texas A&M was one of the worst teams in the bracket. Besides Tulane and JMU, just don't think about Tulane and JMU. Texas A&M is probably the worst team in the bracket, right beside Oklahoma. Texas A&M didn't really deserve to be in there. I think anyone with that schedule or Ohio State schedule would have ended up probably in the playoffs. Ohio State deserved to make the playoffs, but Ohio State, I think that hurt them. When you don't play good teams all year and you just play easy games like that all year and then play a hard game at the end and then play another hard game, it's gonna bite you in the butt.
Well,
So-
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna equate this to something we can relate to. We can't control how the rest of the Senate League looks outside of Glenville.
Right.
So with that, I
But
can't control.
There's not like 15 teams in the Senate League, though.
No, it's not. But what I'm saying is, you got one power team or two power teams, but you have no control over what everybody else is going to look like week to week, or even for that entire season.
And that's why
So-
I think you should schedule more conference games.
Well,
schedule more conference games.
For the SEC, that's going to change next year. They're going to a 9-game schedule. However, I don't know if that's going to be the same case for Ohio State, the Big 12, the ACC, because we know the ACC has a deal with Notre Dame. We also know that the Big 12 is pretty much, going to do their own thing because they have enough teams. But again, we don't know what them teams going to look like next year.
Right.
We were surprised Texas Tech and BYU were even in the talk.
Yeah.
So realistically, I understand what you're saying. I wholeheartedly agree. We're not even gonna go over the Tulane and James Madison games. We know. That's all I'm gonna say. Miami, New Year's Eve. Miami beats Ohio State by 10. Excuse me, by 10. I don't think, and this is what I want everybody to understand. Watching this game, I don't think Miami just beat Ohio State, if you know what I mean. Yes, they won the game, but I don't think they beat them. Because 9 times out of 10, when you see Miami beat a team that they should beat or have a chance to beat, they go all out. However, they did do what you said they were going to do. They put pressure on Julian, saying he was looking at shit he did not know was there. He was looking at, 5-6 people in his face. They couldn't run the ball, which didn't help him because that's been the best part of his game is when they're able to run the ball. But that was not existent. So, and Miami did their best running the ball. They looked as good as they've looked all season. So, shout out to the shout out to Wesley. You made it back. Congratulations. But I don't know what this game is going to look like if everybody is healthy for Ohio State, because there were some linemen missing, and rightfully so.
I feel like I feel like in both college football and NFL, every team is banged up going to there. I don't think Miami was fully healthy going to their game too. I think I have a different opinion on that. I feel like Miami beat them simply at the end of the game. To put it, Miami had the ball with 7 minutes left to go in the game. 7 minutes left, and they drained it down. So, like, if that's not a definition of beating a team, I don't know what it is. Honestly, you got the quote unquote best team in America. You got the best defense, not even best team, the quote unquote best defense in America playing, and you let a team run 7 minutes off the clock and get points.
Hey, I can't argue with
that. That's draining, and that's that was honestly surprising to see a team do that. To just drag Ohio State down or just drag them to literally ropes and deep waters and drown them. Literally drown them.
Real quick, did your ESPN go off just now? Because mine did.
No, what is it?
Somebody just hit the transfer portal from Ohio State.
Okay.
Brutus Buckeye has entered the transfer portal.
Dang, I didn't know you can do that. Talking about transfer portal, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
You ready? So, I was thinking about this too, but because you see all this team, you always see this like, oh well, this player's getting offered this much money to go here and there, and I always thought about it like ain't that crazy? Like like ain't that tampering? Listen. You got a player in Ty Simpson who declared for the NFL draft, right? Who was not even in the transfer portal, who was not even entered in the transfer portal. But you got teams like Tennessee and Miami who offered him $5 million, $5 to $10 million. He's not even in the transfer portal. How can you talk to a player who's not in the transfer portal? Isn't that tampering? Why is there no tampering rule in college football?
There
Like,
is. However,
Then where's that? That's tampering.
hold on. There is. However, there is a very small window. If that player is still not actively playing, they can talk to him. It is a very small window.
It was before he even declared for the draft. And
Yes,
if you know,
but it's
in
still a
fact,
very-
that's him, and that's happening to him. You know, Ty Simpson was the best quarterback last year.
He
Come on,
wasn't.
in this
But
year.
again,
So come on now. You don't think there's people, even about Jeremiah Smith? There's teams offering Jeremiah Smith to leave to the point where Jeremiah Smith went on social media and said, "I'm not going anywhere." There's obviously tampering going on. These players are being asked are being told like, "Oh, you come here, you will play, and you get X amount of money. We're going to pay you more than where you go," and same thing like Justice Haynes, Michigan, going to Georgia Tech. I don't understand that at all. But
I wouldn't have went to Georgia Tech.
But I just think ain't that tampering? Like you fixing all the.
Again, I do know that there is a very small window. It is so small that they have to circumvent the rules a little bit. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I know that there's a very small window that they can talk to you or offer you something before you make a decision.
Right.
Is it right? No. Does it happen? Absolutely. But again, I cannot say with all good conscience that it's not done all the time. It's been done for years, not just now. Not even NIL had anything to do with it. It's just been done. You know, and I'm not saying it's legal. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying if I had $12 million, I might steal Bryce Underwood and tell him come to Old State in that window of communication. Not just because it's there, but because I know I have the money and I know I got enough money to make him think.
Yeah. But the good thing to be a Michigan fan, he said he's staying. So
hey, he can stay all he wants, but again, that kind of money will make you think.
Yeah, of course. That's
So
why they go after young players who are 18, 19 years old. You know,
they never seen that kind of money in their life.
Nope, but it all depends upon who the type of player has as a family and role models around them. All that stuff plays a role. So,
all right, moving on. Indiana obviously throttled Alabama in the next round on New Year's Day. We don't even really need to talk about that. Alabama just was not ready. Like no. Mendoza made them look foolish and smiled the entire time.
I mean,
to me, it's really not worth talking about because that's not the Alabama I'm used to.
It was disappointing to kind of see, knowing the rich history of Alabama. By the end of the day, I see people saying like Alabama didn't deserve to make it. Alabama went in there and beat a playoff team in the first round. It's just the fact that Indiana is that good. You know, you saw a team that everyone knew that should be in the playoffs, and that's Oregon, and they got the belt too. So, with that being said, Indiana is just like quite frankly, the best team the best team in college football, and everyone's probably making a big deal about it because the name Indiana, they're known for basketball and stuff. But at the end of the day, Indiana is the best team in college football, and that's what it is. And at the end of the day, it is what it is, and the truth is the truth. At the end of the day, Indiana's the best team. And if it was like Alabama blowing out Indiana, they'd be like, oh, you know. But it's simply because you always see the best team in the college football playoffs dominating teams. It happens every year. Like you saw with Ohio State last year, they was a champion last year, right? They dominated Oregon. They dominated most of the teams they played. they really dominated Notre Dame in the national championship, even though it ended up being close. But you usually see the best teams in college football dominating, and I think people kind of made a little bit big too much of a deal about it. I think Alabama deserved to make the playoffs. They did, and they won that one game, but they just faced the best team in college football. And this weird year in NIL where players get paid millions of dollars, Indiana's that best team. So
It was an odd year season, so 2025 is odd. All right, moving on. Ole Miss defeated Georgia. Only thing I'm gonna say about this is it showed how much Georgia missed Carson Beck.
I don't think Carson Beck is. I don't think Miami's winning because of Carson Beck, and I don't think they're missing him because at the end of the day, Georgia's the youngest team in the SEC. They got a lot of young players. Georgia's young,
But you need that veteran leadership, and Beck's been there for 10 years now.
I think Beck is. Yeah, he's been in college for 7 years, about 10 years. Yeah, but I think the relationship was growing very toxic. Because if the relationship wasn't growing toxic, I don't think he got pushed out the door because Gunnar Stockton is just such high prospect that he's better. Yeah, I think Georgia knew that Carson Beck overall is the better quarterback. But at the end of the day, I think that relationship and everything was just getting toxic in Georgia. I think everything was just getting toxic in Athens to the point where he'd need to see a new scenery with a fresh air. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. So I agree with him leaving.
Okay, we're gonna fast forward a little bit. Oregon smacks Indiana. Indiana smacks Oregon, and Miami took care of Ole Miss by 4. Was there a point where you felt like Miami was not going to win this game?
No, not really. I mean, only simply because Miami was dominating the game. Miami should have won by 30. I'm gonna bring that point back up because I know you're gonna probably talk about the national championship next. So I'm gonna bring that point back up next, but not surprised because Miami was controlling the game, offensive line and defensive line. They was controlling the game for most of the game. They was putting themselves in bad situations, like turning the ball over, dropping picks and stuff like that.
Okay, fair enough. And then Indiana dog walked Oregon for the second time this season.
Yeah.
Only thing I can think of is that at some point for Oregon, for USC, for UCLA, at some point you guys are going to have to come to the Midwest and pick up some beef.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you saw Indiana's line running circles around Oregon. Not only running circles around Oregon, they kept Fernando Mendoza upright all game. Like, I don't remember him getting sacked. He probably did, but I don't remember him getting sacked. Yeah. At some point, you West Coast teams are gonna have to come to the Midwest and get you some beef. Because if you don't, your speed is not even gonna matter. And I really think that you can't have just speed. You gotta have beef up front on both sides. And once again, you got exposed by not having any beef up front. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. But we watched the same game. It was not pretty.
Most definitely.
All right. Now, we hit the national championship game. Miami versus Indiana. I know you got your thoughts, but I'm going to say this. Both teams in this championship are teams of destiny. I know a lot of people ain't going to feel like they are. However, you didn't think the U was going to be in the national championship, and you damn sure didn't think Indiana was going to be in the championship. However, they both here. And this got to be played on the field Monday morning or Monday night, excuse me. Hey, I've played in the morning at some point. However, Monday night, You got to leave it all on the field. I'm going to save my pick until I hear what you have to say.
Okay, so this is how I look at the game. This game could go one of two ways, honestly, in my opinion. From what I've seen from Miami through the course of the season, especially the playoffs, I think their playoff run so far in the 3 games they played shows basically is a good representation of their season. A lot of ups and a lot of downs. If Miami thinks they're going to play how they played against Texas A&M or Ole Miss, how they put themselves in bad situations and give Indiana short field position, it's going to be a rout. It's not going to be close. Indiana will be your national champion, and it'll be by a lot of points. Or B, Miami will play their best game of the year, how they did versus Pitt, versus Ohio State. If they go play how they played against Ohio State, I feel like the game will be close. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they will be close. I wouldn't say I would be surprised if Miami win, but I just don't see Indiana shooting themselves in the foot and losing the game by shooting themselves in the foot. So we see Miami most of the year shoot themselves in the foot and lose. SMU, Louisville. Even when it comes down to Ole Miss, they beat Ole Miss. But at the end of the day, they dropped 5 picks. They could have 5 different picks on Trinidad Chambliss. Did not catch them.
Should have. Right.
Their offense, putting themselves in bad situations, like penalties. Miami played a terrible game versus Ole Miss, still ended up winning. They should have won the game by 30, but they didn't. So if they think they're going to play like that and play and turn the ball over and have some miscues versus Indiana, it's going to be a blowout. This game's going to start off really bad, and Indiana, I hope, doesn't get down too big of a lead, get too much of a deficit, because then Indiana's just not going to lose. Kirk Tennetti's team is so well coached and so well taught to play until the 0-0. He doesn't that's why he says he keeps that mean mug on his face. He said, how am I supposed to expect my players? He said, when I'm up 50, I still have a mean mug on my face, because how am I supposed to expect my young players to still play hard if I'm over there laughing like the game's over? Their mentality is different at Indiana. So the only way I see this game being a close game is if Miami can play as good as they played against Ohio State. The spread is 8.5 right now, Indiana's favor. I'll take the 8.5. I think Indiana wins this game by 10 points or more. Give me Indiana as your national champion. I don't think Miami is going to play this perfect game. If they do, they have a chance to win. I still don't think a perfect game will be enough, but they still have a chance to win. Wouldn't be surprised if they did win, if they did play a perfect game. But I think Carson Beck and Miami are not going to play a perfect game, and I think they're going to end up losing by 10 or more points. That's my take on it.
I have to go against you on this one. I think Mario Cristobal, even with all the distractions and the suspensions for the first half and all of that, I think he has the Canes ready. He's tired of we know what Miami's going to look like. He's tired of, they're not the U, they're just the Miami Hurricanes. And got to remember, Mario was a Cane back in those days where they were the Canes, the U. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of exotic looks on defense that Fernando Mendoza has not seen.
I don't know, man.
I also feel like
is a silent killer, man.
Yeah, but
Alabama, you saw him play against Alabama. Alabama roughed him up. At the beginning of that game, they sacked him 3
at
times.
The beginning,
you're like, oh no. Your mind's going oh no, this Fernando Mendoza is gonna be a little shooken up.
At the beginning, yes. At the beginning, yes. But here's my question to you: how many times did Julian Sayin get sacked?
Versus who?
Ohio State. How many times did
he get sacked against who? Who they
the Hurricanes?
By the Hurricanes? I don't know.
Got sacked about 6 times. So if they can get to Mendoza, that's going to put a lot in his head. He's going to be moving fast. I just see this game going down to the wire. I'm not saying anybody's going to blow anybody out, because this is the national championship. You don't see blowouts often. I think it's more likely for a blowout to happen than a good game. I think Indiana's going to rout this game. I really got to see that this is going to be a close game. I don't think the 8-point margin is going to mean anything. I think this is going to go down to the wire. And if it goes down to the wire, give me the Canes. Give me the U. And the U will win their first national championship since 2001.
I think the national championships will reside in the Big Ten for 3 years in a row, solidifying the Big Ten as the best conference in college football, as we already know. And I think Chris Signetti is going to do the greatest turnaround in program history. Second year going to Indiana, a non-football school, and winning the national championship. A movie's gonna be made about this someday, regardless win, lose, or draw this game. There's not gonna be no draw, obviously, but win or lose,
Honestly,
this is a historic season for Indiana.
honestly,
It
I
will be
think
talked about forever, probably.
honestly, I feel like, and this is just my take on it, just because he meant so much to the school. Honestly, I think if Indiana wins, I think Lee Corso should get a ring. Just because he meant, like, not even being funny. Like, think about how much he meant to that school.
Yeah,
He turned them around from being a doormat to being halfway respectable. And I really think, like, he should get something he can remember if should Indiana win the title. It's only right.
yeah.
All right. That is going to conclude today's episode of 4th and 15 with Mel and Jacob. Jacob, I'd like to thank you for being on, brother.
No problem. Anytime, man.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. And like and subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can watch this episode. We got a lot of content coming up, and we got our very first documentary coming up. As soon as the edits are done, we will drop that. The only way you can catch that is if you become a member. So please go ahead, show us some love, and we will see you guys later.